Okay guys, welcome to another 8-bit face-off kerfuffle. This week I'm taking a look at Barbarian by Palace Software, because there was a game called Barbarian released by Psygnosis, although that did come a few years after this, I think it was. Now, you've all seen this game. I didn't actually realise there was quite so many versions. This is the... what one is this? This is actually the BBC. Now, I did a check in Wikipedia, and apparently there's also a version for the Electron, which I didn't actually have. And checking YouTube for that version, it seemed to be exactly identical to this, so I don't know whether the BBC and the Electron were one in the same version, or whether they're both, you know. I've never seen the head go right up in the air like that. Now you may notice, by the way, it's running a demo, and that is because I could not for the life of me actually get the game to start. I pressed every single button on the keyboard and I could not get it to start, so I thought rather than miss it out, I would at least include a demo, because you can see the graphics, you can see the animation. I mean, graphically it's actually very, very nice. I'm not quite sure about the pink for the skin, although did the BBC have a kind of skin coloured colour? I'm not too sure. But you know, it's really, really nice. This is the only version I really played of this. Well, in fact, there was two versions I played. In fact, three even. C64. Then I I then went on to the Atari ST and then the Amiga. Now I have not obviously included these ones because this is an 8-bit face-off. Doesn't include 16-bit versions. So anyway, that was the BBC one. That was really nice. Now this is called Death Sword. This is on the Apple II. Don't know why they changed the name. Now this looks very, very like the C64 one. Nice, crisp, clear graphics. So I wonder why they changed the name. There's always a reason, you know. There's always a reason why they always change names of games in some countries. I don't know why they insist on doing that, but it's obviously for licensing stuff. But this is really, really nice. Doesn't have the wee evil laugh by the little green thing, whatever that is, a goblin or something. I wonder, did the Apple II have the same graphical chip as the C64 one? I'm really not quite sure. I was actually quite surprised to see that this was out for the Apple II, because I mean, I don't know when this game came out. Probably 86, something like that. I would have imagined by then that Apple II was no longer a viable option, because certainly in the UK, I mean, I saw an Apple II computer in my geography class, which would be 1983, 1984. I never ever saw an Apple II anywhere else. It just wasn't a computer that you got in shops. You know, it was always looked upon as a business machine. I mean, it was like anything Apple, I dare say it was probably quite a bit of money back in whenever it was, 1985, 1984. So yeah, I'm quite surprised to see this game get a port to the Apple II, but it's really nice. It just goes to show just how capable a machine it was. But you know, I think it was obviously going to be it was never going to be a mainstream computer, not when, you know, Sir Clive Sinclair was knocking out the Spectrum for, I don't know, £199, £150 later on, I think it was. But that's excellent, that's really nice. That is Apple II one. Now this one is the Amstrad. You can tell it's Amstrad because I think it's about the only home computer that's got that lovely pink colour. I mean, the Spectrum's got a pink colour, but it doesn't have any other colours that the Amstrad can do. Now this is a perfect example of an Amstrad game done properly. You know, I knew when I was loading this up it was either going to be absolute bollocks or it was going to be really nice, and I'm delighted to see it's actually the former, or so the latter I should say. It's a really nice conversion. Nice movement, graphics look excellent, really colourful. In fact, it's probably, I would go so far as to say it's probably the most colourful version out there. Now the 16-bit versions, which I mentioned earlier, they were excellent, really good. I think what made them, the graphics weren't really that much better, but what I think set the 16-bit versions apart from the 8-bit ones was the sound. You know, they had digitised clanging of swords and whatnot, so and a really satisfying when you took the guy's head off as well. So it was in, you know, the Atari ST and the Amiga ones are both excellent. I'd like to have included it in this, but that wouldn't have been true to the actual whole point of this feature, which is just 8-bit versions. Now every time you make a hit, the snake, is it the person that gets hit that the snake turns around and opens its mouth, or is it the one that does the hitting? I'm not quite sure. Yeah, it's the person that gets hit. You see the snake moving. You see the snake in the top left being very animated because I'm about to die. Now I must admit, anytime I played this game on the 64 or the 16-bit versions, it was always just to try and get the head off. And what you could actually do, and I think, you know, all three versions, if you held it, if you did the head sweep, not the head sweep, the head chop off move, which is done by holding the joystick to the left, you could just keep doing it repeatedly. Invariably, I think you could get through the first 3 or 4 rounds with just continually trying to do the head chop one. Anyway, I digress. Right, this is the Spectrum one. That was the Amstrad one. That was really nice. This is the Amstrad. Sorry, the B. Actually, I'll put my teeth back in and my mouth back into gear. This is the ZX Spectrum one. I really talk shite sometimes. I really do. Now, what's interesting about this? I mean, they've kind of gone for their own look. The baddie that you're actually fighting looks like he's got some kind of head mask thing on. Don't know why they didn't just stick with it. Unless, of course, because they've gone for the monochrome graphics, it's like a basic line drawing. They've maybe done that so you know what one's you. That's quite possibly the reason. But you can see there a really nice, bright kind of background, nice and colourful. And the graphics are very, very well defined and nicely animated as well. The big, probably, downfall for the Spectrum one is this sort of pretty rubbish sound, you know. There's just, it can't compete with other machines, but the animation's good, plays really, really well, nice and responsive. But like I was saying, you could usually get through the first 3 rounds with just holding the joystick to the left with the fire button, continually doing the head chop move, and yeah, you would get kicked and hit a few times, but invariably you would eventually get his head off. But that one never lasted, maybe 3 rounds tops, I think it was. Now sadly I've never completed this game. I think I've once got to, is it level 5, something like that. Yeah, not very, very good at all. So that's a Spectrum one. That's a nice version. It looks very like a Spectrum one. Now this is actually the Atari 8-bit version. This is not an official release. This was made somewhat a few years later. Now graphics look nice. Why they've gone for these disgusting monochrome graphics, I have no idea. The colour, I should say. Now the other thing as well is it just plays way too quick. I'm the guy with the black top on, and it's virtually impossible. It's 100 miles an hour, it's way too quick. Now I don't think this game ever got an official release. I says it was kind of a fan base homebrew version, but I mean it looks really nice. It just plays way too quick. Right, you don't get the wee goblin in that version either. Yeah, and oddly you seem to get some kind of random colour scheme. In this case it's yellow, brown and black, is it? Possibly. Yeah, I mean the Atari 8-bit's got a nice colour palette, so they could have really done it better, I think. But anyway, it's better than nothing. This is Death Sword, and this is on the IBM PC. This is DOS, obviously. This was before Bill Gates got his act together and brought us all Windows, or some may argue that that was not him getting his act together. But yeah, this was DOS. Again, graphically wise, it's very, very similar to the Amstrad and the Apple II one. In fact, even to the BBC one actually. Apart from its horrible colours, pink, blue and black, and that is about your whack. But this was, what were these graphics called? Was it EGA, I think it was, and then eventually they became VGA, then you got Super VGA, so yeah, I think the EGA was very limited colour wise. But again, it plays really nice, you know, it's not a bad version at all. I always found a lot of the moves that you could do in this were ultimately pointless. And you can see there I'm constantly just trying to get the head chop. I remember when I first got this for the Commodore 64, I was actually disappointed with the graphics. I thought the graphics looked really, really messy. They just looked untidy. But then it was a game that I did kind of grow to love. Never as much as Way of the Exploding Fist, you know, but yeah, I did get to like the look of the game, but I just thought initially it was quite a messy looking game. But yeah, well, that's what it's all about. You don't get the wee evil laugh in this version either. So that's the IBM PC. Again, I was quite surprised to see that. And the last one we're going to look at is the one that I played. This is the Commodore 64. Wait a minute, how do I turn the music off? I think you can have either music or graphics. Sorry, music or sound effects. There we go, that's what we want. You never want music in a fighting game, it's just, you need sound effects. Now, actually, I didn't realise I was praising the other versions, the Amstrad one, about its really colourful backgrounds. Well, this one, being a C64, is a mixture of browns, as you would expect, but nicely detailed. Animations absolutely spot on. What one would I go for? I mean, I like the sound in the C64 one. What would be my favourite version? It's a tough call. I mean, the BBC one looks really nice. It's got pink people, which isn't quite right. Apple II one is pretty good. It's really, really accurate. Amstrad one is lovely. Spectrum one is monochrome, but still plays really nice. The Atari 800 one is, again, it's not a full. I don't think it's a full game as such. It's kind of a fan base one. Plays way too quickly. The IBM PC, again, same graphics to the other versions, but it's just got the horrible colour. Oh, blimey, what one would I say is the best? My brain is kinda saying the Amstrad one, but I'm going to go for the C64 one, because that was one I owned back in the day. It was, to me, it was the original version. It's got the superior sound, I think, so it's a close one. Amstrad and C64 are, to my mind, right up there, but there's not a bad version at all. They're all really, really good. You should go and check out the IBM, not the IBM, go and check out the Commodore Amiga one, Atari ST. They've got slightly better graphics, but they've got the amazing sound. The digitised sound just really makes it. Oh. Now what I'm doing here is what I was talking about earlier. I'm just repeatedly trying to do the head slice. See if it comes off. It doesn't always work. It's just always, there's a bit of luck involved as well. And invariably get backed into a corner like that. But anyway, listen guys, that is it. That's another 8-bit face-off kerfuffle. I hope you enjoyed watching it. And as usual, thank you very much for watching.